Today we're going to be learning how to make this particular fascinator. Kindly watch the end. If you have any questions, drop in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer all your questions. And let's dive in. These are the materials we'll be needing. Just pause this video and take your time and have a look at each and every one of them: the lining, the gum, the thread, the mold, and everything there. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to put our gum around the molded cap. In my last video I showed us how to mold the cap, so we'll allow it to dry, then we'll go ahead and put the lining inside just like this. Again, the reason for using the pegs is just to make it stay, make it stick to the cap. Just use this method I'm using. The peg will help it stick to the cap, and then you allow it to dry. You allow it for some seconds to dry off, then you cut off the excesses like this. Try as much as possible to make it as straight as you can, even though we're still going to cover it, but you can just do it the way I'm doing. After that, when you're sure it is dried and it has sticked completely to the cap, just go ahead and take the pegs off. Then you can still go ahead and trim it if need be. Okay, so now that we have our linings well secured inside the mold, we're still going to go ahead to put gum around it on top like this, because right now I want to go ahead and use my main fascinator material to cover the mold. You're going to allow, anytime you put a gum, always give it some seconds to dry off before covering it again. So this is the main material I want to use for this fascinator, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover it like this. I'm going to follow through the same process of using pegs to secure it. If you don't have pegs, you could just use your hand to press it very well to make sure it sticks to the gum. But if you have peg, I just personally I like using pegs. So this is me cutting it off again, the excesses off very carefully. You have to be careful so you don't cut the lining under with your scissors. Just cut it carefully. As you cut, you're taking your pegs off like that. So the reason I was putting the pegs back is I noticed some parts were not fully stick yet. You don't want them opening up. So if you're cutting and you notice some parts are removing, just put your pegs back. If you need to apply more gum, you can do so. Just keep it until it's completely dried, then you take your pegs off. So my molded base is ready, already covered, so I'm just going to go ahead and start working on the top part. Now this is called millinery wire. If you go to the market and ask any millinery store for a millinery wire, they'll give this to you. So I measured it as wide as I want it to be, and I'm just using my needle and thread to tie it round just like this. Kindly watch what I'm doing. Secure it as much as you can, tie it several times until it's well secured. So this is what I'll be putting on top. You can show this to them at the market. They know it comes in different colors. So what I basically did was place it on top the wire, and I started stitching it onto the wire. I'm going to do that round until I complete it. I go around the millinery wire. Even if it's rough, don't worry, we'll still have time to tidy it up. Okay, so I'm done. This is me tying it, securing it as much as possible until it's well framed. Then I'll go ahead and cut off the excesses like this. So that is taking its shape. So again, as usual, we're going to put our gum round it, like round it like so that we can cover it. You can see how rough it looks. So we're going to be using our trimmings to cover it like so. This is a smaller kind of trimmings. Again, I love using pegs for almost all my work. Makes it easier and, you know, makes it last longer. It just comes out very strong at the end of the day. If you have more pegs, you can put them, you know, closely together. So I just went ahead to cut off the remaining trimming at the end. Okay, so it's ready. It's almost ready. You can see it's looking coming to shape. Now we're going to be sewing it to the molded base. All we need to do is to place it on top the already molded base and then sew under. Please just watch what I'm doing. So I think I'm done here. So I'm just going to secure it tight as many times as possible, then cut off the excesses, and again cut off the excess net inside. Some people usually use gum to gum it, but I like using needle and thread. Makes it more secured. So here we have the top part of our fascinator. We have the base, we have the brim. This is the top part of our fascinator. So we're still using gum to go around inside while we use our bigger trimming to cover it. Okay, so I have used my trimming to cover it, the big trimming inside. I've used it to cover it, as you can see, just like the way I've been doing it. After putting gum, I use the trimming to cover on that to make it appear cleaner. So now I'm using again my trimming to cover the other side. You know, the first time we covered the top side, now I'm covering the under with my small trimming. The one in the middle, I used the bigger trimming of a matching color, while this bigger round brim, I'm using the smaller trimming. You can still use the big trimming if you like, if that's what you have or if that's what you want. So the same process, just use your gum, put your gum around and cover it. Now I'm going to be fixing my handle. That's my Alice bind. There are different kind of Alice bind. There's this one, there's this other big one. In my next video I'll be using a different type, the ones you see in most caps, but for this video this is the one I'm using. So I just had to cut it to reduce the length. It's usually too long, and this is what I'm going to do. On each side of the cap, I'm going to tuck it inside like so, then I'll use my needle and thread to secure it. I'm tacking it to, notice my needle is not coming out of the cap. It's everything is happening inside. You're not going to see thread outside on top of the cap. I'm tacking the handle to the inside of the cap and to the trimming, the big trimmings inside. So I'm going to go ahead to do the same for the second part. The same thing I just did, I'm doing it for the second part. So here we have it. Our fascinator is ready. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment on this video. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.